How bad were we?
Bad.
On a scale of 1 to 1,000, 1,000 being the worst.
It was pretty bad.
That way we get a high score. Welcome back to Bourbon Theory. I'm Bill.
I'm Josh. And welcome back to another review.
Yeah, boy, I actually hate these.
Yeah, I can't stand having to drink another one of your favorite weeded bourbons of all time. Lord have mercy on us.
Did I say it was one of my favorites?
Yeah.
I did? Okay. Must have been. We don't have to do this with Bankers Club, do we?
No.
Okay.
No, that's gone.
Good. Kasha?
No.
Okay.
No.
Good.
It's not gone, but it might as well be.
Yeah.
So, guys, again, this is only the second time we have done this. So, the premise is this was the third ever review we did.
Back in August.
This was September 4th, I think, is the day. Well, we filmed it in August.
Yeah.
So the idea is that your palate isn't the same every day, and it's certainly different many months apart.
Mm-hmm.
So the point of it is to revisit a bottle that we have already done, see what notes we gave that matched up, see what's changed, re-rate them.
And we've done this a couple of times, actually, in blinds and different things.
Yeah. And if you go back and you watch those, you'll see that sometimes we give notes that are totally different from video to video on the same exact bottle. And that's just how it is.
Yeah, your palate changes. That's why if we taste something that we don't necessarily like to start with, on our first tasting of it,
always give it a second shot.
And in many of those cases, we may taste it off camera and may taste it. I'm looking at a bottle right now, tasted now 4 times before we did the review.
Yeah.
So
don't always trust your first instinct. Sometimes when it comes to bourbon, rye, aged spirits, you can have an off day.
Mm-hmm.
So today, it's good old Weller Antique 107.
Yeah. And by the way, there is something in the bottle, just so you know.
Yeah.
This one's getting low. We're going to have to finish this one off before long. Don't want them to oxidize.
Yeah. But we did just use it to blend, so it has not been exposed to oxygen very long.
Right.
Yeah, it was yay up here.
And that's the other thing, it can change in the bottle, depending on the oxygen that it gets and barometric pressure and humidity, I guess. Who knows?
Getting more of the weeded funk than I normally do.
See, me, I got cherry.
Oh, I'm getting cherry, but I do still get a little bit of that.
Cherry was the top thing I got.
Funk.
What's the wheat percentage on this?
So Buffalo Trace doesn't tell us, but the rumor for this is they do the traditional, the most popular mash bill in Kentucky bourbon, which is 75-21-4. They just take that 21 rye and place it with 21 wheat.
And for those of you who did not see the first video, did see the first video,
it'll pop up in one of the corners.
So you can go back and laugh.
Yeah, and see just how god awful we were when we started.
The other thing is, if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, give us a thumbs up, go back and look at the other one, and you can give it a thumbs up or thumbs down. We prefer the thumbs up, but just up to you.
Let's see how far we've come.
And question of the day, if you did go back and see the other one, or you remember seeing it, I don't even remember doing it, but let us know in the comments what you thought. How bad were we?
Bad.
On a scale of 1 to 1,000, 1,000 being the worst.
It was pretty bad.
That way we'll get a high score.
All right there, old man.
All right. Let's see.
Little caramel, a little bit of spice.
I'm getting the caramel, I'm getting that cherry. There might be a little grape underneath that.
Very mild pepper. Very mild.
It's like a Welch's white grape juice. light. Proof's not coming through either.
No, not at all.
Let's see. This bourbon, as I look back over time, is the first one for me because in general, wheat is a softer grain, and you wouldn't think that it would have as much spice on it on the palate. And this one, as I remember going back and when I first had it, or first remembered having it some years ago, I thought, that's not soft. Because this has got a great deal of spice to it.
I don't know if I'd agree with a great deal, but it definitely does have spice to it.
I had a pretty good amount of spice on that one. No, it's right down the center of the palate, fades back into the oak. We don't know the age on these anymore. They used to be 7 years old. And these are probably
about that.
Probably about that because
I'm
these
sure
are,
they still are roughly about that.
And this is an early bottle, short, probably not too long after they took the statement off of them.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I'm getting the oak.
You get a little tiny hint of that cherry.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely getting a little bit of that wheat funk. But you're right, there is a nice little bit of that peppery spice.
Yeah, didn't get much of the wheat funk on the first sip. So let's see what we do on the second.
A little drying on the front.
Now, see, this time I got more of the cherry on the front, getting a little more of a tingle there. Spiciness tamped down a bit. What really came through is the oak, and that oak is staying. And I can agree on the back of the palate, it's drying a bit. I'm going to say too, this bottle is not at its best right now.
Probably not, but we had just fresh cracked it in the first video, so I'm sure it wasn't at its best then either.
No.
It's definitely very gentle.
Yeah, much gentler, much more gentle than the 107 that I recall.
Mm-hmm.
It's not drinking at its proof to me. Honestly, it's drinking sub 100 to me.
I could agree with that. Yeah.
I think if it weren't for the oak, it would probably be drinking like a 90 proofer. If it weren't for the oak impact.
Yeah. Yeah, the oak really does bring forward a little bit of that spice. That's kind of the only reason there's any spice is that oak.
Mm.
Put a drop in it. Just kind of pronounced everything that was already there.
Nah, I got a definite hint of butterscotch on it, or toffee.
I could see where you're getting butterscotch. It's more of a caramel to me.
It could be. It's just that was the first thing that popped into my mind within a half second after I nosed it, and that's usually what you need to go with, Jim. And it's still there, but also that grape is more defined now to me. And I always get grape on Buffalo Trace in general. You normally get more of a cherry, I think, on it.
I get both. This one in particular, I typically get cherry. The nose certainly presents as cherry to me.
And the nose is considerably better with the water, to me.
Yeah, it does. It really pumps it all up a little bit. Let's do our third.
More sweetness on the front. More cinnamon-esque in the mid palate for me.
Oakier on the finish.
But yeah, oakier on the finish. A little more drying on the finish too.
Yeah.
Overall good. I know where I'm at.
There's a little allspice playing in there too. Where you at?
I'm going to see.
Really?
Yep. Yeah, this is not presenting as much as I would normally like it.
I am at a B-.
This is not the Weller Antique that I
know and love.
Yep. And again, we said it before, you can have a different palate day to day.
So, our notes on September 4th of last year on the nose was cherry and oak. The theme of our early videos were that we did not say a lot. The palate, we had oak, cherry, caramel, and wheat. We didn't mention any spice, apparently. Mm-hmm. I gave it a B and you gave it a B+.
Hey, again.
So a precipitous drop for you.
Again, day to day. This is just not hitting for me today. And as much as I do like it, it is what it is on the day.
Mm-hmm.
So is this the one where you turned red-faced?
It is.
I thought so. This was your first thing over 100 proof, I think.
For the most part, yeah.
Until later that day when we did 136 proof.
Yeah.
And then his head blew off.
A little bit. A little bit. So guys, again, if you have not gone through and done something like this for yourself, highly recommend it. You're not as spot on as you think you are.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you are. Maybe we're wrong.
Right.
Maybe you're perfect. We are not.
We are imperfect.
Very much so. I'll be the first to admit it. So guys, if you're enjoying our new series, please do leave the video a like. You know, if you'd like to go back and recommend some bottles for us that we've already done for us to redo, go ahead. We plan on doing as many of them as possible. Obviously, there'll be a time where we have to wait and stop and let some time pass before we go back and revisit some things. But I thought it was another cool way to bring bottles like this back.
And get us into some bottles that we don't get into because, you know, now this one we get into.
We have, a little bit. So, guys, thanks so much for hanging out here with us.
And like we always say, like good bourbon, our videos get better with time. And hopefully these videos prove it out.
And as always, take care of yourselves.